if you are a parent, the #1 question on your mind right now is probably, what are we gonna do with school this year? It's a big decision, and honestly, a lot of it has to do with how much your school district is doing right now, whether you're working full-time out of the home, what your comfort level with homeschooling is. So let's just go through some of your options so you know what's out there. So I homeschooled for 8 years before I sent my kids back to public school. By the end, I had twins, I'd been on bed rest, I was working quite a bit, I just couldn't maintain it. And I was really worried that my kids were gonna be behind, and all 3 of my older boys went in and skipped grade levels in at least one subject once they went back to school. So I think we did an okay job. We'll see. I mean, we're still waiting, but I told my kids I didn't screw them up too much. So there's that. But they have been back in public school the last few years, and I am going back with 5 of my 6 kids and homeschooling this year for health reasons. My oldest is not going to be homeschooling because he is in a program where he's taking college classes and he's a senior, and I just don't want him to lose that chance to get his college credits right now as a high schooler. So he's staying. I'm crossing my fingers everything works out with him. But my others are all doing a combination of either straight homeschool or homeschooling with taking a class or 2 at the local school. So first question, if you're even looking into homeschooling, you do not have to do what everybody else is doing. There are options. Homeschooling doesn't just mean you're totally on your own. You have to come up with your own curriculum. You have to do everything from scratch. You don't have to be that one type of homeschooler. You can do whatever works for your family. So there's online charters that do everything for you, where your kid logs in and all the curriculum's done for them. There's teacher support. There's oftentimes field trips, although I don't know how that works this year. You can do a combination. There's schools out there that will do some on-site learning, some at home, some parent-directed, some teacher-directed. There's options that are totally parent-directed. So if you want to be in charge of all your curriculum, you can. If you want to be in charge of all your curriculum, but use pre-made curriculum out there and choose bits and pieces for each subject, you can do that too. We're using a program where we have a lot of control, but we still have like a mentor over my kids, and we have to check in with them, but we get funding for classes that we have a lot of flexibility in how we're spending it. And 2 of my kids will actually be taking a couple classes at, actually we switched, sorry. One of my kids is going to be taking classes at his local school, so he gets kind of a mix of both. He's not gonna be in school full time, but he gets to go see his friends. He gets to take a couple classes that I'm not really interested in teaching him, and that he just wants to take in person. So there's a lot of flexibility. So before you get overwhelmed with homeschooling, it doesn't have to be whatever you have set in your mind. There's so many different ways to do it. I would start by checking with your local schools, because I know a lot of them have virtual learning options. I would start by checking what kind of virtual charters are available in your area. As far as nationwide charters, K12.com is a good one. We have used them before. They don't have a lot of flexibility as far as their curriculum goes, but we've really liked the curriculum. My boys did it when they were younger, and I will say doing it for like kindergarten through, I think it was 2nd grade when we switched, it gave them a really strong foundation with reading. They've all been excellent readers. It's a really rigorous curriculum. There's a lot of work. That was my only negative with it. There is a lot of work. So if you've got kids that want more hands-on stuff and don't want to be in front of the computer, that can be a downside. But it was a very thorough curriculum. My kids, I felt like, learned a lot. The other thing that I think a lot of parents worry about is, do you have to mimic what the school looks like in your home? I see a lot of parents that are setting up like classrooms and trying to duplicate whatever they had in their regular school, which is fine. I know a lot of parents do really well with that. We do kind of a mix, but school doesn't have to look exactly the way that it does at a public school. I will tell you, one year I homeschooled while on bed rest with my twins, and I was so deathly sick. I had home health coming in twice a week. I could barely get off the couch. I was just convinced that that year was going to be complete waste because we just were focusing on making it through the day. I got to the end of that year and my kids all took the state testing and they had all tested way above where they had the year before. And it didn't make sense to me at the time until I looked back and realized literally all we did that year was sit on the couch and read books together. And my second grader read The Hobbit that year. I can't remember how old he was. I think he was fourth grade. My fourth grader read Harry Potter like twice over the whole series. We did a lot of reading. We did a lot of historical fiction. So my kids were learning while we were reading. We watched documentaries. We did a lot of things that felt like entertainment, including like board games, all that kind of stuff that was like fun that my kids enjoyed. We just kind of felt like it was relaxing time together, but it really helped them progress. So even if you don't feel like your school is looking exactly the way you had planned on or exactly the way they were doing the public school, it's okay. Your kids will be fine. One of the big benefits I see from homeschooling is the relationships, especially when you've got younger kids. It's a great time to work on like foundational subjects. I've got a daughter who is a little bit behind in reading, and we're spending the year, I told her if we do nothing else, but we decide reading's really exciting, then I've done my job this year. So that's our goal this year. We figure we have to do reading and math every day. The rest is bonus. My kids love science. They love like technology and science and any of that, and they're really interested in history. So those are kind of our bonuses, like treats if they do their basic stuff. But as long as you get through the basic math, do a lot of reading, let your kids read a variety of books. I always make my kids are really obsessed with fantasy books. And so I have to, often we'll push on like, here's a historical fiction, or here's a biography, or here's a nonfiction book that you might want to read. I try and give them some variety, but as long as they're reading, I feel like they're doing okay. I'll go into some of the curriculum options we like because there's just so much out there. But a lot of curriculum, if you're worried that you don't know how to teach, I hear so many parents that are like, well, I'm not a teacher. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. That's okay too. I use Saxon Math, and it's pretty scripted. My kids are all like awesome at math. Like my 7th grader is now doing 9th grade math, and I am not a math person. But I've done Saxon with my boys pretty much from the time they were in kindergarten. And it's really scripted. You have the parent book and the student book, and you can kind of read through, do some activities, but you read through the script and then do the student activities. And so there's stuff like that out there that's really easy to do. That again is a little more hands-on. If you want to be a little more hands-off, there's lots of programs. I love study.com, and I will include a promo code in the comments of this video for you to get a discount off of it. You can get 30% off right now with the code Ambassador1. And again, click the description of the video afterwards. They have elementary school from 3rd grade on up all the way through high school. You can get accredited courses, and you can get college credit doing their classes. So that's a great option. My boys are doing classes online that they're getting high school credit, that it's accredited. So they're still on track to get a high school diploma. Like you can really, there's just so many options that we can't go into all of them, but I'm happy to answer questions. But the biggest thing is just take a breath. If you think homeschooling is what you want to do for the year, if you want to switch to homeschooling for other reasons, or if you even just want to do it for the year because of COVID, thanks COVID, it's okay. There's so many options out there that you can get through a year. You can have curriculum all laid out for you. You can have options that are on the computer that you just have to kind of monitor. You can have more hands-on things if your kid's not really a computer person. We've got apps that we love that my kids actually beg to do, and they think it's like playtime, but it's really part of their curriculum. So like my first graders were doing reading eggs, and they begged to do reading eggs, and that's like part of their stuff. So they've got like math and reading stuff on there. So they have a lot of fun with that. But there are a lot of options. You can work with your school district. You can pull your kids out and do stuff on your own, or you can get into a virtual charter school. Some will give you curriculum. Some will give you funding to buy curriculum, which is the route that we've gone. And there's a lot of options, and it can be a really fun thing. My kids have had so many fun opportunities through homeschooling. It's gonna look a little different this year, but we've gotten discounts at museums and amusement parks and all kinds of things because we're homeschoolers. They wanna encourage you to go during the weekdays when they are normally slow, so they'll give you a steep discount to get in. We've done like Disneyland homeschool days, all kinds of stuff. Again, might not apply this year, but there's just so many cool opportunities that you can do with homeschooling. So even if you're just doing it for a year, just have fun. That's my best advice, is just relax a little bit. If you don't do everything every day, that's fine. If you don't cover everything you think your kids need to know, also fine. I'll include some resources in the comments here, but if you have questions, feel free to ask, and I will work on putting together some of my favorite curriculum options, because there's some really good ones out there that don't require you to have a lot of prep time in advance. So good luck. You can make a decision that works best for your family. The best thing I've seen lately was a meme that said, no matter what you decide, public school, homeschooling, charter school, whatever you decide, you made a good choice. It's just such a hard decision right now, and there's so many moving parts, and there's different kids who have different learning needs. So whatever you do, you're doing the best for your family. It's fine. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. So good luck. Check out the comments for some resources that you can look through as you're trying to make a decision, and good luck.